Broadway, off-Broadway, stock, etc. Occasionally some TV, a soap or whatever, and occasionally a film. I did 2 films while I was there.
You do prefer theater to film or television?
Yes.
You do, you prefer
unquestionably.
it. Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't prefer it if I was, I know people who make a living out of doing the same roles in the same shows over and over. I could not do that. I would go mad. Just as if I had been doing the same steps in different costumes for 21 years on Lawrence Welk like Bobby did, I would have been mad in a year. But you have time to build a role. You do it in front of people where you get an actual and accurate reaction, and you get to change it, and then you must maintain it and find new ways to do it. Television, and even in film, it's very quick, and once you've done it, you've done it. Bye, off. So I much prefer theater. Even radio is cool because it's you can do it off the top of your head and just read the script. You know.
Now, when you were acting, were you also doing your dancing?
If it comes up. As an adult, I try to stay more towards acting and away from it, but if there was a role in a musical, I mean, I did Mac and Mabel on Broadway for Gower Champion with Bernie, Bernadette Pierce, and Prez, Robert Preston, the late, great Prez. He was a cool guy. And so if it came up, I've done a number of musicals. I've even done musical things on TV and in film. Sweet Charity, the film, for Bob Fosse. The last season of Chicago Hope for Kenny Ortega, whom I had done an acting role and dancing in Newsies, another musical film. But more acting than anything else, and I prefer it. Frankly.
You do prefer it.
Although I'm still a very good dancer. People seem to think that you hit 40 and then you can never dance again.
Oh, that's not true.
Which is not true of an awful lot of people, like the Nicholas brothers.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
excellent dancers.
So do you still dance now?
Sure.
Yeah?
First of all, I take a class. I give myself a class every week. It's one reason I keep in pretty good shape for a guy my age. Just the warm-ups, but it's 50 minutes of extreme warm-up, once or twice a week. And if something comes up, I do it. For instance, I was doing Grandpa Jode in The Grapes of Wrath at Ford's Theater in D.C. about a year and a half ago. That's the theater where Lincoln was assassinated. And in the second act, they've got this dance, you know, because they're out doing a hootenanny and they do all these polkas and these different things. And somebody realized that I was a dancer. I come to probably the choreographer. Said, well, let's use him. It's, you know. So I danced in that 8 days a week. You know.
You enjoyed that?
Yes, I did. I did.
Do you enjoy being in front of the camera or behind? Is behind is just as good? Like if you're
well,
choreographing?
I've never worked. I've only I've choreographed for camera, of course, and I've only done one thing directing for camera. Most of my directing work is in theater, but I prefer being in front of it.
You like in front?
Yeah, unless I had the choice of going through the possibilities of getting there to do a script I really wanted to do and direct for camera. Sure. Yeah, I would like to do that, but I have not done it.
It's interesting that you've been able to stay in the business for so long. You know? No, I mean seriously.
It's
a lot
not
of times,
interesting. It's tough.
Yeah, but so many times when you're a kid, you know you're a star or whatever, and then you grow up and then you don't have any.
Very few. You can name, you know, the names come out, but very few really sustain. They have different careers, or like Ron Howard become a director, but most performing like Helen Hunt and Jodie Foster, etc. No, it doesn't, and I've written pieces about that for American Film Institute and Dramatics Magazine.
What do you think you did to stay in it? Is there any?
Well, but first of all, I'm adaptable. I act, I sing, I dance, and then I started writing for money, and then directing stage and choreographing anything, and tenacity, perseverance. It's not as much. Well, it is patience, but also you have to eat. But I've managed to be varied enough to get through. Instead of the policy now is that they want a Russian to do something. They hire a Russian, but I do Russian dialects and a lot of different dialects, and a lot of actors don't do that, as we know.
You're versatile.
We saw Kevin do that Robin Hood that was not an English accent. Well, even Larry Olivier did a thing called Bus Stop, a play by William Inge on TV, and he tried to do an American, and it was awful.
It was just really
and
awful.
Bob Duvall, a very good actor, I was in a movie with him, Newsies, in which he did Scottish that needed help.
Yeah. You know what I'd like to do?
Sure.
I'd like to see a clip. I know we have several clips.
Sure.
I'd like to see the first clip.
Sure.
Why don't we roll that and then we can discuss it after?
All right, all right.
Okay.
If I remember the shows.
I don't want to know how you got those tickets, or why my kid digs that kind of music, but he really loved the show.
Anytime, pal. I'll call you next week. You're a hell of a guy, hell of a guy. He's a real jerk.
Joe Bologna just called me a jerk.
Obviously, that was Murder, She Wrote.
Yes. Very good. He's guesting that week, Joe Bologna.
And when did you do that?
Gosh, I don't remember.
No? Oh, it can't be that long ago. You look
yeah,
the same.
Yeah, well, please.
No, you
please.
do.
I
You
don't
do.
give money to people I don't know, so don't even try that. Maybe 10 years ago. I don't remember. I
okay.
shot it, I think the late 90s. Yeah, that's
Late
about right.
90s?
Yeah, yeah.
So you started doing a lot of adult television.
Yeah, a lot of heavies. I play a
Heavies,
lot of
yeah.
real bad guys, a lot of killers, all that kind of stuff. And whatever happened, I would occasionally get a role. I think we have a clip of one where I'm playing, a milquetoast guy. He's kind of meek and all that. But they always saw me as a heavy, even before I shaved my head.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, I find you very comedic.
Well, thank you. I am, but I
Yeah.
don't get the opportunity as often, except in theater, because they see this. There's a quality that I can project very easily that is a bad guy. So, hey, I did Riff and I did West Side Story twice, and on one occasion I had a guy who was should have been a basketball player on my gang, but nobody ever for once thought that I wasn't the leader of the gang. Just because he was huge, and I'm certainly not a huge fellow.
But you had the attitude.
Yeah, I had the whatever it took. Yeah.
Yeah. So they usually casted you that way.
Yep.
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 Well, why don't we look at another clip?
Okay.
Let's look at another one here.
Never say goodbye. Man wanted.
Man wanted, huh?
That's a song.
Nice song. Nice sentiment.
Mr.
Call me Roscoe.
Now that's your typical producer.
Yes. Yes. Copacabana for Barry Manilow, and of course it was Annette O'Toole, my
Right.
second Annette. And I was a sleazy guy there, not a bad guy, but I was not the guy you want taking your daughter home.
No. And so when was that done?
That was, gosh, I didn't know you were going to ask. I'd have to bring a list with me.
Well, yeah, it's
that
kinda
was
hard to remember
80s,
everything.
late 80s.
In the late 80s.
Yeah.
Interesting that, like you say, Annette O'Toole, and what the audience probably doesn't know, we all went to the same school.
HPS,
Hollywood Professional
Yeah,
School.
yeah.
And you went there for,
First grade through senior year,
yeah,
then on to college.
a great school for professional kids, because you only have to go 4 hours a day.
Yeah, also skaters, ice skaters, as well as gymnasts, because you had more time. You didn't have to take, shop. You didn't have to take home economics. You didn't have to, and there was no
Gymnastics.
no sports.
Right.
So you had, you got your solids. You were going to be accredited for college, and you had time to audition. You had time to work out. And you had time to take class in the afternoon, which regular public schools you did not.
I don't know what kids do today in the business. There is no more Hollywood Professional.
There isn't no Hollywood Professional. Closed in 1985 after the death of Mrs. Mann. But no, I don't know what the heck they do. Unless they have, they make so much money, they have home tutors.
Right.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Because they make, compared to what we used to make, forget about it. It's just,
It's way up there.
Oh, yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
And I hate all of them. But that's not true.
So today, what are you doing today in the business?
Well, I have my DVD just came out. I still have my website is up, Mouseketeer Lonnie Burr. You can't say that. I have a website. You just put my name into Google, Lonnie Burr, and my website comes up. And I just started selling my memorabilia through Saturday's Toys, another website. And I'm working on my memoirs, about 170 pages in, and that's 58 years in show business.
That'll be interesting.
Well, going on for Eddie Cantor when he was ill once in blackface, which is no longer allowed, but was in the 50s. Dancing and acting on stage with Ginger Rogers, dating Barbara Parkins, working with Elvis, talking off set as well as on camera. It's been 58 years with an awful lot of folks.
Worked with a lot of talented people.
Yeah. So I'm doing that. And my wife and I have just transplanted, thank goodness, back to California from Maryland, D.C. So I just got an agent again, so I'm getting back into being known here. Fortunately, when you leave Los Angeles, even more so than New York, when you leave Los Angeles, you might as well die. Nobody knows who the hell you are.
Then you have to start over
So
again
you have
when
to
you come
say,
back.
remember me? I was, I say, I think I have a, didn't you do, So I'm going through that process and living in San Clemente, 3 miles from the beach, where the air is a lot better.
And staying away from the
farther
hubbub
up
of
there.
LA, and that you can
The
still come in
traffic
here.
and the worst smog and all the things that we originally left in '98 because we lived to look like in the valley.